Ramon, great to see you. I wanted to talk today about some of the big trends we're seeing here in Mexico. Real growth of business here due to geopolitics and what's going on there. But on the flip side, some challenges with respect to talent. Let's start with the talent thing, because I know it's something that you've been thinking about, not just from your customer's point of view, but within Koh Young. Let's start with what you've been doing within Koh Young.
Yeah, so in regards to talent, as you know, is well, first of all, nice to see you, Phil. Always talking with you. So the first thing is talent is very challenging in general. Mexico is not the exception. So in Koh Young, what we have done is we have growth people internally from the inside of the company. We promoted, basically it was 4 positions, 2 sales manager, 1 service manager, 1 application leader from our own team. So I think that is always great for the companies, you know, that you can see that there's growth, there's opportunities, and you're able to develop basically your talent from the inside instead of bringing people from the outside.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting, you were telling me earlier, is that you've taken people from maybe one discipline like engineering, and maybe they've moved into sales, or maybe they've moved into more of a support role. It's exciting when you join a company to think that you're not stuck in one lane, you can do lots of different things. That must be encouraging for people on the team.
That's correct. You know, our name is Koh Young Technology. So we are a technology company. Most of our background is engineering. So it's always exciting, you know, from moving from applications to engineering to a sales role or different roles, project management, for example. Different challenges, different world, but at the end we're still in the industry. So it's something for the ones that we have gone through that transition has been very exciting, and I think we love it. And for the people, it's also very good to have. Yeah,
to have that. And you know, it's important that we have less people in the industry with grey hair like myself. So you need to bring on some young talent. How do you go about recruiting? Do you recruit people from outside of the industry? Do you recruit people straight out of college and teach them the industry?
It's both. We need to be very careful because, you know, we need to respect our customers, and so we cannot just go there and I'm gonna take this guy, right? So you need to combine from the university or from different industries maybe, or maybe people that is not related 100% to our equipment, and then we can grow these people to bring into the SPI, AOI inspection world and just grow them from that point on.
Yeah. We visited IMI, one of your customers today. Really impressive facility, lots of automation. They're thinking hard about talent as well, not just in the way they train and bring people on, but the way they select their machinery. So there's less requirement for more people sitting on the line, less requirement for heavy training within that expertise. What's the relationship with them with respect to helping them minimize their talent requirement for the equipment that you sell them?
Yeah, I think one of our responsibilities as a supplier is to take care and be good partners. So it's not like, okay, I sold equipment, here's your initial training. Yeah. So we need to be helping them on how to grow their own staff. We know that there's a very challenging times in regards to people because there's a lot of layover. So we need to help them, you know, to identify their areas of opportunities that they have and be a lot more proactive and propose, you know. We have these new tools, this new software with artificial intelligence. Let's use it in your line. I seem that you have new people. Okay, let's see what are needs and do some training with them. Yeah. So basically, we need to play this role as a good partner, you know, because if they are able to use equipment much better, it means that, you know, they will get 100% of the equipment instead of the other way, right? If they have some limitations, it's going to be a little bit more challenging for them and for us to provide support to these customers.
Yeah, and it's interesting you use the word partnership and collaboration. When I'm talking to most EMS companies, but particularly with IMI today, there was really a view that they don't want suppliers, they want partners. They've selected you to be their partner in the last round, and they've done it again for the next 5 years or so. So they they're committing and they want to share technology roadmaps with you and get you involved. That's really key to not just their success, but your success.
That's right. That's very important. I mean, if you see a customer just as a customer, I think you need to respin. You know, it needs to be your partner, because electronic industry, even though it looks big, is very small industry. So maybe I'm going to see one of the directors in this company today. Tomorrow I'm going to see them in another one, and they will remember, you know, when we needed some training or whatever help, this company helped me, Koh Young helped me, and I think that's what we need to do, you know, to be successful. Again, it's always a win-win relationship. So if my customer is successful, my partner is successful, Koh Young is going to be successful as well.
Yeah, and then I look at the other talent issue within the EMS companies. Another way they can combat that is, you know, for example, the company we saw today has got more than 10 lines, probably more than 20 Koh Young machines.
Yes.
The idea that the number of operators they need to monitor and take care of those machines is reducing is really important to them. That idea of a kind of a control center for multiple machines, that's something that you consider every day, I guess.
Yes, that's very important. Again, being able to introduce some artificial intelligence tools. If you have new software that you know that is going to help the customer to reduce the headcount, or maybe not to reduce, to utilize this headcount in different areas, that's our responsibility, right? And as what we're doing in Koh Young, a lot of that is how to try to innovate, to reduce the dependency on the machines, be a little bit more self-sufficient with the systems. We need to be able to provide this software to the customer so they can reduce the headcounts, use these people in different areas. And at the end of the day, where all the industry is going is automation, right? How can I automate my process, my lines, so I can produce better product in a faster fashion and with less dependency on the people, you know, on the skills of the people on the machine.
Yeah, and it's greater operating efficiency. They can use those people in higher value add roles, but also more interesting roles. They get upskilled as well at the same time, which is really exciting. The other huge trend we're seeing, which is a great benefit to Mexico, is a bit of a geopolitical situation, which is resulting in a decoupling with China, and that's benefiting Mexico, among other countries like India and perhaps Vietnam. When you look at it from a Mexican point of view, it feels like this is the region that's most ready to accept that additional work. But what do you see in terms of that impacting the demand on your equipment from your customers here?
I think it's very positive. One of the strengths of Koh Young is that, well, we say, right, we are a big family in Koh Young. So we have very good relationship with other branches like Southeast Asia, China, Korea. And so a lot of times they work over there in some projects. The machines come to Mexico, and it's like it's the same company basically. So we help the customers to install the equipment, to do training and everything, like if they were purchasing the equipment in Mexico. But it's a very good trend that we're seeing with a lot of, especially as you know, Asian companies, Korean companies that are moving to different areas in Mexico. I can say Tijuana, Nuevo León, so there's a lot of Chihuahua. These are the areas that are getting a lot of that business from Asia.
Yeah, and it's interesting not just to see the growth in the companies that are already here, but you're seeing, as you mentioned, more Taiwanese companies, more Asian companies investing in greenfield sites, so building up more and more capacity and creating more opportunity. You mentioned those areas. Are there any areas that are particularly growing fast, and are there areas that are particularly focused on certain technologies?
It's interesting. For example, a lot of the Taiwanese companies, for some reason, are going to Chihuahua. So we see a lot of them. A lot of Asian companies, either China, Korea, they're going to Nuevo León. They're going to Tijuana, for example. Very few of them are coming to Guadalajara or to, Querétaro is always famous because of the German, European accounts. And we see that trend. We're seeing that those pockets in which, again, the Bajío area is more Europe, and it looks like areas like Chihuahua, like I mentioned, the north, are attracting a lot of Taiwanese accounts. So yeah, it's interesting how the accounts are coming and are coming to similar territories, similar areas in which there's other companies. Maybe it's the competition. Maybe they see that, okay, these companies in this territory, so let's do it over there.
Yeah, that tends to be the reason. The other factor that seems to be occurring is kind of a distribution based on industry. So there are certain areas that have always been more automotive, medical.
Right.
What I'm hearing a little bit is the mix is changing in Mexico. You're starting to see maybe a little bit more consumer being made here, which is really interesting, maybe because of the influx of the Taiwanese companies in particular. But where do you see the particular industries focusing, in particular EV, for example, which is a rapidly growing market?
I will say EV is all over Mexico, so you cannot say that it's just one region specifically. Maybe if we see by regions, Northeast you get a little bit more of that, but also in Guadalajara there's a lot of EV. But in general, you are seeing a lot of EVs in different areas. There's a lot of electronics, but there's a lot of wire harness, for example. Sonora, which is not an area pretty big in electronics, but there's a lot of wire harness customers there, and a lot of EVs customers are going there. So the EV market is pretty good for Mexico right now.
Yeah. And what about other sectors like like medical industry? Are they focused in a particular geography?
Medical, for example, semicon, Sonora. There's a lot of medical and semicon. But also medical, as a lot of EMS companies, big EMS companies have these different segments. They have automotive, they have medical. So you can see medical in Guadalajara, you can see in Chihuahua, you can see in Tijuana. But a lot of that business, I think, is going northeast, like Sonora, for example. But the good thing for Mexico is all over Mexico you can produce anything, right? And all over Mexico we have big EMS companies, and that is good. That is positive, because also they have this flexibility, I cannot do it in my facility in Chihuahua, but I can do it in my facility in Guadalajara or the one in Monterrey, for example.
Yeah, and that's really important. And all over Mexico you have Koh Young offices, Koh Young support staff, so you can support the customers wherever they are.
Right.
That's a huge part of it.
That's a great advantage. We have demo rooms in several locations in Mexico. We have engineers basically all over Mexico, in all the cities where there's industry. At least we have one engineer there. So that's a great advantage also, that we're able to provide support to our customers, and they are happy because they have local support. It's a great advantage.
And they can get there quickly. And I think when I look at the relationship you have, and we talked earlier about that partnership, it is holistic, isn't it? It's not just what you can sell them, it's how you can share roadmaps, how you can develop stuff for them, how you can support them, how you can provide maintenance, how you can be as close to them as possible. That's the key to success in a country like Mexico.
Yes, I always say in sales, to sell the first equipment, that's the easy part. To have the customers, happy customers, to repeat the order, to give you the trust. I have a new project, Koh Young. I have a new project, Koh Young. That's the difficult part. And the only way you can achieve that is through post-sale service, for both, for sales, for service, for applications. So you need to be able to, to hear, like what I was saying in regards to training. If you see your customer needs something, you need to be there for your customer. If you don't have that mindset and that team to provide that level of service, then it's quite challenging to do business.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you get ahead of it and you do that, and that's the reason you get qualified and requalified with these global EMS companies. So fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Pleasure to talk to you again. I look forward to being here again next time. I wish you and all of Mexico continued success. You know how much I enjoy being here. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Phil. Always a pleasure.